All right, the Las Vegas Raiders just made a painfully obvious decision, like a duh type of decision. And it's like, thank you. All right, maybe Pete Carroll isn't completely off his rocker because at least he's figured out now that what he said before is dumb and he's not going to say it again. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about a very unique matchup that we have this week against the Colts in a game that I think is more winnable than many of you might actually believe. So we're going to get into that for sure and go from there. But first, let's get into some of this news. And it is really, really simple. It is that Pete Carroll has decided, oh, it's not working, so you're not going to get to see this. All right, Pete Carroll has decided that Jackson Powers Johnson will make his second straight start in Week 5. Really? Thanks, Pete. All right, look, I think Pete Carroll's a great coach. I really do. I've been talking about how all offseason, how good Pete Carroll has been. And of a hire for this team, I think that they made a professional hire. I think it was a good decision. I think that overall their hires were really good, and they did the right things with what they had available to them. However, the way he's handled this Jackson Powers Johnson situation, I thought was really, really dumb. However, JPJ just had his best game of the season and possibly the best game of his career. He was the second best offensive lineman on the field, and I don't just mean for the Raiders. He was the second best offensive lineman on the field for both teams, and I can make the argument that he was actually the best offensive lineman. The only person via PFF grading he trailed was Colton Miller, all right, which, darn it, that's a tough loss. That's a tough loss. However, his pass blocking grade was even better. He didn't even allow one single pressure. Not even one pressure. So when we're talking about this kind of stuff, I'm like, man, oh man, we need to do this. He had an 85.4 pass blocking grade, best on the team, 70.1 run blocking grade. And when you watch the highlights, a lot of it is just phenomenal run blocking. He's making blocks where he is just bullying over a defensive tackle, carrying him into the second level while doing a pancake block of a linebacker to free up Ashton Jeanty, it was one with Raheem Mostert, actually. And it's one of those things where you just watch him play. And when he makes plays like that, when you get to watch this elite athleticism at work, you realize to yourself there's nobody else on that offensive line. There's only a handful of dudes in the league that can do the athletic type of things that JPJ is doing. Nobody else can ride a defensive tackle into the second level while moving to their left, pancake blocking a linebacker. People can't do that. Right guards on a play that is out of shotgun that run to the left for him to be able to displace the defensive tackle straight in front of him, get to the linebacker and get a pancake block that frees a running back that started on the right side is insanity to me. It's absolutely nuts. So to be able to watch him do that, it would be insane for the Raiders not to be like, yeah, he's our starter next week. My goodness, he's your best offensive lineman right now. It's not even close. And so, yes, he should be a starter next week, and you have to start questioning what's going on if they don't have him there. So we have this really weird type of situation where you, on one hand, are wondering, is Pete Carroll dumb because he didn't see this and there was this whole, fight for the right guard position, or is Pete Carroll a genius because he saw the struggles that were happening with Jackson Powers Johnson, and maybe this is his way of being like, hey, man, you got to earn it back. You're at AAA right now, right? Like, you need to earn your way back into the big leagues. And so maybe you can say Pete Carroll is dumb for the things he said, or maybe he was lighting a fire under the butt of Jackson Powers Johnson, and the fire absolutely worked because he was absolutely fantastic. And I want to move this into, and we'll get back to Jackson Powers Johnson, but I want to get back, I want to kind of talk about something secondary on this one. This is pretty interesting, and this one you can actually see. All right? This is going to be a game of missed tackles. There are no two players in the league right now that are creating more missed tackles forced than Ashton Genty and Jonathan Taylor. And they will be playing each other. All right. I think so often when we look at stats like this, we're like, man, oh man, it was a rough first few weeks for Ashton Genty, and then Jonathan Taylor looked great. And it's just, nope, these are good running backs. It's really that simple. It's just a question of if the offensive line gives them anything at all, they are going to go and run for a mile with it, right? And that's just the type of players they are. But when I look at this, it is no mistake. For your running back, I'm going to give you the first 4 games. I'm going to specifically give you his offensive grade. I'll give you his running grade. Week 1 at New England, Genty, 55.1. Week 2, 65.2. That was against the Chargers. Week 3 against the Commanders, 63.6. Week 4 against the Bears, 79.4. Not even close. Not even remotely close. Do you think it's a coincidence that Jackson Powers Johnson, all right, had a run block grade of 54.8 in the very first game, all right, against the Patriots, missed the next 2 games, gets back for Chicago, has a run blocking grade of 70.1, an overall grade of 76. Do you think it's a coincidence that that's all of a sudden when Ashton Genty decides that, oh, I'm going to have my best game and my coming out party as a pro? I don't. Because here's the thing. Genty's going to make people miss. But in the open field, he is virtually impossible to bring down. So when you're making people miss behind the line of scrimmage, it still doesn't look good. You have to wonder if there's something else he could have been doing better, if there's something he missed. But when he is in the open field and he's able to get past that first layer, you say, 1, there's a hole there. So, yep, his vision's fine, which it was. It was just fine, right? Then he can make defensive linemen look silly behind the line, but he can make linebackers and defensive backs look absolutely dumb after he gets into open space. And when you have a guy that, and an offensive line that's opening holes, the Colton Miller thing, that's a big loss. I understand that. But it is nice to absolutely see this. I do think there's this weird outside chance that the Raiders have a legit shot. I still don't know if they're a good team, but I don't know if they're that next level good, right? And they showed some flaws last week. I mean, they played a good game, but they did show some flaws. And I think if the Raiders can just tighten up on the turnovers, please tighten up on the turnovers. Geno Smith, you don't have the same arm as some of the greats of all time, but he just thinks he has so much arm talent and he tries to fit it in such tight windows when he doesn't have to. Just take what the defense is giving you. Get the ball to Ashton Genty, for crying out loud. Get the ball to Brock Bowers. Come on. Get the ball underneath. Like, take those and let your stars make plays with it. That's all I have to say. And as a coach, you got to put him in position that he can do that. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one for more Raiders content from guys that aren't Raiders fans. We're Lions fans, right? We're just trying to talk about teams that the national media ignores and give you a non-biased opinion on your team. If you want that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. See you on the next one.